Boop.
I got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 No filter, I got no filter.
Uh-oh.
Not a good way to start off the show. With
No,
those
it's typical dumb Shane stuff. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Hold on.
Holding.
Jesus. All right. Now we just have to wait for that echo to go by. Welcome to Tuesday night, or actually Paramotor hangout. I'm one of the persons on the show. Shane, never trust a skinny chef. Shane, how you guys doing tonight? Will, how's it going?
Going good, man. Been out working on my van. I came up with a name, and I'm going to call it Wheel Fly.
Oh yeah. Oh, apparently I'm not even signed into YouTube for to make comments in the chat. So, Mr. McElroy, how are we doing, sir?
I am doing good. Glad to be here hanging out with y'all and with our friends online.
Yes, sir. Man. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm still coming down from the high of the fly-in the past weekend. I want to share a horrific trip before the fly-in. Not too much into detail, but I will explain a few things. So my wife and I decided to leave Tuesday after work and head to Savannah, Georgia for a 2-night overnight stay in a hotel. And for those who don't know, when my son was going through his fight with cancer, he started a bucket list, and one of them was to meet Adam Sandler. Somehow we made that work out, and by we I mean the people of the internet made it work out, and we actually went on set to the movie Do Over that they were filming at the time, and Krista and I went back and kind of reminisced that day on what we did, where we went with our son, and we wanted to go back a couple days, or we wanted to go back Tuesday night, stay the night, wake up Wednesday, and reminisce, and go to dinner Wednesday night, and then go back to bed, and then head to Ben's house for the fly-in. The very first night, let's just say the pictures on the internet did not. They did not. The pictures on the internet was a lie because the hotel was very, very disgusting. So we got up the next day, even though we had rented bought for 2 nights to stay there. We decided to check out and find another hotel. And we ended up finding another hotel, which was really nice, very up to standard, and had no complaints. So, we did the whole walking downtown and everything, and it was awesome. And we had a good time. Got up the next morning. I got up at 5:30, excited to head to Ben's house. And anybody who knows my wife knows that she likes to sleep, and she likes to sleep in. So I am literally at 8:30. I've been up for 3 hours or so, and I was dying to go. So I made the excuse, the continental breakfast ends at 9, so I'm going to go get some food. And she jumped up and she's like, I'm ready to go now. I'm like, awesome. So we packed everything up, put it in the truck, got our continental breakfast, and then headed to Ben's, which is about another 4 hours. Got there, and I was expecting a parade when I got there. Nobody was there. I show up to a house that I've never been to before, a piece of property I've never been there before, and was told just to walk on in. So I did, expecting, shotgun blast or something on the other side. But I got lucky. I didn't die, didn't get shot, and that was the start. Time we got unpacked and set up, we were ready to rock and roll, and you guys showed up from breakfast, or actually, you guys went to lunch. Correct, Mark?
Yeah, we went to lunch. I hate that we weren't there to give you a parade, but I had a like a buffalo quesadilla, and it was worth it. Just saying.
I just heard that was the best food he had the entire trip. That's what I heard. Will, is that what you
Negative.
heard? Will, who was there when you showed up?
When I showed up, Brian Haybell Waller was there. Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane. Mark McElroy was there. Ben was there. Who else
Cupcake
was
Krista.
there? Cupcake Krista was there. Red. Um, let's see. I actually got. Actually, let me do this. How about if I just share a picture?
I'm so glad everybody was there for you when you showed up. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I thought so. That's the way. That's the way it should be. Yeah, let me share the picture and just kind of show you the group that the Motley Crew present.
Mark, who was there when you got there?
Just been.
There you go.
I made it to North Carolina before either one of you guys did. So don't give me no
Yes, you did. This is true.
Yeah, you woke up in North Carolina.
lip. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And it was a lot of fun. Ben was real gracious with his hospitality, and man, it just you couldn't ask for a nicer get together. Just kind of laid back and chilled. Had some really nice flights, and
Yes.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it next year.
So
and in that picture right there, I was thinking about doing the Joe Biden sniff of Krista's hair, but then I looked over and Shane was right next to me, so I thought better of it.
I would have allowed it. I'm just saying. You, I got news for you. Krista's gonna hurt you more than I will. Just so you know. So yeah, it was that the house that we stayed at or stayed in was absolutely gorgeous. I actually really liked the layout of that house. Um, but and I Ben did have that house built about, what do you say, 11 years ago, 13 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Great gate. It is a really great piece of property. I enjoyed the little tour of the property on the hike and learning, what all he has done to the property. He's planted more trees than any any farm that plants trees I can imagine. I was like, why are you planting this many trees? The man
Yeah,
has a
that
vision.
place, it needs to be sponsored by like Still or Husqvarna weed eaters.
Yeah, he has a goal. He has a dream, and God bless him. He's on the right track because he's planted more trees than I would ever be willing to plant. So
Yeah, so he's living the dream. I mean,
yes,
he's got his own LZ and real sweet setup there at the house. And I mean, dude, it's just perfect.
yeah,
Um,
no, 100%.
he spends a lot of time though, on the property, and that's what I was saying about Brian Waller's setup there. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful grounds, but man, that takes some work. It really does. And just like Brian, you could tell he takes pride in his property, and
Yeah,
it was just I don't know. There's something about getting together with a group of people, not a fly-in, if that makes any sense. It's just a kind of a get together, an in casual, informal um, meeting, and that's some of the best times.
oh, I hit the wrong one. Hold on.
Push the
This
button. Push
this
the
is the one.
button.
This is the one. This is the one. Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Oh man, Ben told me. I think it was it like 15
15?
It's
acres?
15. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Leave it.
but it's not all just, all flat 15 acres. He's got some nice trails back there and a
A
pond.
little pond. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's beautiful. Might be heading
So,
back there next week, this weekend, Ben. Not to your place, but over there close to Charlotte.
oh, I was gonna say, wait a minute, I might make that trip back there. But I already promised that I get some honey to do list stuff done around here. So
hunting,
that,
hunting to do list. I thought you said
yeah,
hunting to do list.
it's a honey to do list. Um, Someone has not told me I need to get going, but someone has told me I need to get going. So I'm going to get going this weekend and finish that stupid bathroom.
Mad Sloper in the chat said, "What's the minimum required for PPG LZ?" And in my opinion, that has a ton to do with what's surrounding it. Is there 3 foot tall cotton, or is there 60 foot tall pine trees? I mean, I think you could probably, um if you had a really perfect spot with, a sod farm next to it, you could get by with under 5 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your skill set too, and the motor
Yeah.
equipment.
Yep.
Ben coincidentally did a video on just that, on what it would take to for an LZ. I think he came up with. Tell me if I'm wrong, Ben, but I think he said like 6 acres was what you want. Um, I don't know how he came up with it, but check out his video. He goes into detail there.
Yeah, I think 5 acres would be right. And that would depend again when it comes to how tall the trees are in the surrounding area, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and are
But
you talking about Florida, or are you talking about a hilly area, or are you talking
right.
about? So yeah, I can see the variables there.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you step off a 0.22 acre property that's on a cliff, that's plenty LZ. You know?
and my last place at Paralife Ranch, that was 400 feet wide, and just 400 feet is plenty. I was 1,200 feet deep, and
That you're
most of the
talking
time
about
we,
your garage, right?
yeah, whatever. Anyways, most of the time we took off the long way because that's the prevailing wind. But when the wind would be across my property, 400 feet, um, if you laid out by, and all I had was, 4 foot tall horse fence on either side. And so, you know, 200 feet wide is more than enough so long as you can be in the air and clear the neighbor's, property.
Well,
Yeah, man. Right.
I can tell you, if you launch from the beach, you only need about 3 or 4 steps, and then you're golden.
Yeah.
And the same thing for landing.
Yeah,
So,
prevailing wind. Now, one thing I could suggest if you're kind of looking for an LZ or you see something and you're interested in buying it, is take some time to study the prevailing winds for that area. I mean, it might be the perfect place, but 90% of the time, the prevailing winds give you a crosswind, so it would ruin the entire, um, idea. So just take that with a grain of salt.
okay, let's get back to this wonderful property. That the kitchen idea, I absolutely loved that kitchen idea. So, hopefully, I can explain this correctly. And if I don't, you guys can help me out with it. So, first in the kitchen area is a gigantic island with a farm style sink. Behind you is the cabinetry, the refrigerator, the stove, and some countertop with some cabinets underneath. Now, if you walked around to the back side of these cabinets, because there's a walkway behind it, you will find washer and dryer. Was there a dishwasher back there? I don't remember.
In the back, I think.
That
Yeah.
was me.
Oh, Mark's the dishwasher. But there was a whole nother sink and a whole nother area to do dishes. And when you got done, the cabinetry that was in the kitchen above the stove and the countertop there was actually a pass through. If you were on the backside doing dishes, you dried them. You could open up the cabinets from behind and load the dishes and the cups from the backside of the cabinets. I thought that was unbelievably ingenious. I love that idea. So, like Mark, who has hired help, he doesn't actually see them working. He just knows he gets new plates. He gets new plates and new cups,
Ah,
and
I
he doesn't
like
even
you
have
guys less
to. And he
every
It's a
doesn't
real
have.
month.
smart design.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's. I have talked to Krista till I'm blue in the face about this. I on the way back was like, dude, I absolutely love that idea. Like, it's amazing how you don't have to go all the way around to load the cups and plates and everything back into the cabinets. You just literally do it through the back of the cabinet. It works. It's freaking amazing. And hats off to you, Ben, for that awesome idea, dude. It was one of my highlights because I just thought it was the most amazing thing.
Yeah, for
Um,
me, it was flying. I thoroughly enjoyed paramotor flying, but
I
for
did
Shane,
too.
it
Listen, I don't even want to hear from your face right now about that.
was
Um, no, we got there Thursday around 1:30 or so. Krista and I, and then I think it was about 5 o'clock. We took off and flew around, and great area to fly. Tons, I mean, absolutely a ton of emergency landings. At no time did I feel like, oh, I shouldn't be here because it's, if my motor dies, I'm screwed. No, everything was wide open. There was plenty of spots to land if you need to, and one of my favorite flights, Mark. I know you were there. The SUV that pulled over on the side of the road and had the kids hanging out of the sunroof, and the parents were taking pictures. I don't know what it was about that particular situation, but these kids were in love with the idea of us flying around and had a blast. They waved at us. We went over them uh, 20 different times, and every time it was like the first time we flew over them. They just were so excited, waving at us, and just as happy as they could be. And I loved that flight just for that. Mark,
Yeah,
what about you?
yeah, that was good. Except for I did find myself close to the ground for me, you know, yanking and banking, which is not very much because I don't do much. But I was thinking, yeah, if they weren't sitting there, getting a show out of it, I would not be flying this way. It wasn't out of control, but I did find myself thinking, you don't normally fly this way so much.
Well,
But it was cool.
yeah, I absolutely loved that flight. There was so much that we did not discover or see. I will tell you the last flight we took on Saturday evening, we were chasing Ben down. Um, I 100% loved that flight. We flew over a corn maze, and there was people in there walking around, looked like they were lost. Apparently, they were mazed. Um, and then we just kept going to, what was it, Rock Creek or something? Rock River.
Yeah, Rock River.
And I so badly wanted to dip down in there, and then I was like, "Yeah, I can't have another video of me getting my wing pulled out of the water if something happens." So I stayed above the tree line and just kept flying like I did. So Ben,
Although
what?
if you were gonna fly low in a river, I was up high just trying to keep up. I got to get a faster wing. But anyways, if you were gonna fly low on a river, that would be a pretty good one to fly low on because it seemed like had a ton of shallow.
Yeah, you just bounce off the rocks.
Yeah, that's better than drowning.
Will, what was your favorite flight?
that one there,
Mhm.
flying with other guys, and just kind of experiencing. I'd flown there before, but I'd never gotten that far out and actually gone somewhere. They've got a huge corning plant, and that river was just awesome. And I did the same thing, Mark. I stayed high, so there were a couple guys that got down in there and carved the river, and
Yeah,
I think it was kind of low. It looked like it was really low.
So,
yeah.
Will, what would be an experience you would take away from this? Actually, before I finish that statement or that question, so you're saying that people waited for you so you could fly with them?
No, I didn't say that.
No, he took off and left me. I was just standing in the field. I tried to run him down. It took a while.
Man. So
Yeah, well,
what?
me, when I fly with other people, I love to fly next to people. I mean, that's just kind of what I enjoy doing. And yeah, just doing 360s around each other. It's just stuff like that, because,
Yep.
well, whatever.
So
My-
what would
Go ahead.
well, let me ask you, what would you take away if you had something a positive to take away from this flying? What would it be?
What would it be? What would it be? I guess that I'm on the right track. I found my group of people, and we all kind of relate to each other. And another thing is I've been relying a little bit more on help from my fellow PPGers. For example, Brian Waller, thank you, dude. He fixed my inverter and my stuff, in my van. And yeah, man, I mean, just I've said it so many times that it's like a broken record, but just love hanging out with like-minded people.
Yep. Mark, same question for you, sir.
Um, yeah, of course the flying was great, and I do enjoy more. I mean, I haven't been flying long, just over 2 years or so, 2.5 years. Uh, but I'm somewhat bored. I mean, I enjoy taking off and landing every single time, but I'm somewhat bored with flying around my house. So it's really fun to fly, where you're not used to flying all the time and see some new stuff. And then we live in a time where it's kind of weird as far as uh, like Shane and Will, Brian, these are guys that I hang out with in person and online, and like people in our chat that are always here that we know, and we might only see them once or twice a year at a fly-in, but it's I don't know the right word, but it's weird, but they're like friends that your buddies, and yet you only see them once or twice a year. And so that's real cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love hanging out with you guys. Every time we meet up, it's like it's been forever, but it's also a normal feeling. Like we go right into like we've always hung out together every day. You know what I mean? Like it's weird how we haven't seen each other than online, but then when we hang out, it's literally like we always hang out. You know what I mean? Like it's just natural.
And then
And
when we separate, it's like so good, isn't it? It's like, oh man,
man, I
well
will
done.
not listen. I will not forget Mark leaving at 5:30 in the morning to head home, and I hear him literally crying, getting in his truck because he was so sad that he was going to miss you, Will.
Yeah, sure.
No, I told you that was because I was gonna miss Will's dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's another takeaway is the last couple of events I've taken my little dog with me, and I kind of like that.
Hey, I will tell you, Eastwind Farms is in the house right now, and he says I still consider Shane my buddy. We have met in person one time, and I'm telling you right now, if that dude called me and needed something, I would be there. Awesome guy, 100%, just a genuinely nice guy, and yes, Chris, I 100% would call you my buddy in a heartbeat and would be there for you if you need me. Matter of fact, I'm going to call you tomorrow because I need to catch up with you anyways. Uh,
Cool.
so what I've taken away from this flight or this fly-in here, I really enjoyed meeting Brian Waller's parents. I say this, you know, I, Brian's a great guy, so I like to meet the parents that raise a kid like that. You know what I mean? And I was looking forward greatly to meeting Ben's family. And I didn't get really. I had not said one word other than when his daughter was leaving. But I didn't get to speak with his son or his daughter. But his wife, oh my god, what I I don't know what I was expecting because you really just never know when someone comes walking through the door. What like you anticipate different things. And she came in. She was very inviting, very warming. Was willing to have a conversation, just inviting. You know what I mean? Like I was just floored by that. My wife, until you get to actually know her, and she's met you a couple times, is not gonna say word to you, but she will warm up to you, and then you're like, Jesus, I wish you'd quit talking to me. But and she won't. But Ben's wife was absolutely a dream to talk to. I had a great time meeting his family, and to me, that was probably the most memorable part of it, just because I wanted to meet Ben's family and to see how Ben kind of interacted with them, which we didn't have much time. We were running around doing things, but I thought it was really interesting, and I enjoyed it greatly.
Yeah, man. Did you see Matt Sloper's question?
No, I missed it. Oh,
So, who all flies PPG by themselves? And if so, do you have a way of notifying loved ones or a friend if you go down? No cell service either.
no, nope, self service only. But I would say rarely fly alone. Um, Matter of fact, I couldn't even remember the last time I flew alone. To be honest with you,
I have I think 147 flights, and off the top of my head, I think I've only flown by myself once.
Really?
yeah, I
Yeah.
could
Yep.
Uh,
maybe 3 times, 4 times at the most. I've flown, and I have over 400 flights.
um, I've got over 600 flights, and I think most of them are by myself. Not all of them. So if I had to give it a percentage, I'd probably say 80%. So I don't have GPS, the spot or whatever. You can buy that, and I think you pay a monthly subscription to it. But what I do is I make sure that somebody knows that I'm going flying, and they kind of know my mo. In other words, when I go flying by myself, I'm going to usually be heading into the wind. So that tells them the direction right there. And I also make sure they know about when I'll be getting back. And then I also call that person to close my flight plan just to let them know, yeah, I'm down, I'm safe. So um, cell service is pretty, I won't say that there aren't little pockets around the area, but for the most part, you know,
Mad Sloper asks if you've ever had an issue, Will, by
with
yourself.
with landing out,
Yeah,
yes,
by yourself.
yeah, I've landed out 3 times, and each time, fortunately, well, it was 1, 2, 3 engine outs, and it was not. They were all non-issues. It was just a matter of landing in a field because I made sure that I had a field available if something went awry. But I have never had a situation where I've landed out and gone to the side of the road with my gear where somebody hasn't stopped and offered to help. It'll usually start off by saying, "Hey, are you okay? Are those things safe?" Da, da, da. And before you know it, you're back at the airport or the LZ or whatever. They offer you a ride. And I mean, that's been my experience. I also, if I have a choice, I try to land as close to a road as possible, preferably near a home, you know, and on the right side of a fence if there is one. And also that doesn't have cows or horses, especially.
Well, we have a statement from Paramotor NC. I'm just getting back. My favorite part of the fly-in was that you guys fixed up my house and cooked me food.
Yeah, man. I was doing the pizza. I was doing the pizza crust, and
The pizza dough, yeah.
yeah, and Ben was on the oven.
I want to get to that because I literally looked at my wife and I said, I don't care how much you like this pizza, we're not getting a pizza oven. I have 3 pizza ovens in the Amazon cart waiting for me to pull the trigger on. I have to do a little bit more research. But Ben, you cost me a whole lot of money because I have to buy a pizza oven now.
Yeah,
So
Mark too.
let's talk about this pizza setup. Was this store-bought dough?
Negative.
No. Ben literally pulled out all the ingredients, weighed it, put it on a scale, weighed it, put it in a bowl, mixed it, kneaded it, like literally made us fresh pizza dough. And then I guess he set it on the counter or put it in the fridge. I don't remember what it was, and then went flying and came back. And then the one person I've never actually even seen a utensil of cooking of any kind in his
I'm
hands
with you.
picked up some pizza dough and started spreading it out like a professional. And that was Will. And Mark and I have had this conversation. Mark called BS that you had never done this before because the skills you were throwing down.
Yeah, he was a pizza maker and a liar all at the same time.
So, have you guys in the chat ever had a pizza, a raw pizza? You made toppings the way you want it, everything right in front of you, and then cooked 60 to 90 seconds, and it was done? Because that's what we had, and it was phenomenal pizza. I actually ate more pizza there at Ben's than I do my favorite pizza joint we have here. And I'm telling you right now, I was hurting when I went to bed, but I was happy in the same time. That was some freaking good pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ben was good. You could tell that wasn't his first rodeo around that cooker either.
No.
Because of turning the pies and keeping them going at the right time.
Ben
that
told me to
was good.
slow down. You're going too fast for him.
yeah. Yeah, Will's got 87 pizza doughs laid out ready to go. Ben's like, you need to slow down. And Will is literally throwing pizza above his head, catching it between his legs, behind his back. I mean,
yeah.
I even heard twice, "It's me, Mario." And
that's funny.
Oh, it was.
It's little stuff like, you know what? That's a great idea. I mean, little, I call them what do you call them? Extracurricular activities or whatever.
Right.
Those are great icebreakers. It gets everybody involved. Everyone had to make their own pizzas, and
Yep.
Before you knew it, everyone's cutting up, laughing we're just having a really good time. Just the little simple stuff, like even lighted balls and stuff like that, or frisbees, and that's what makes events fun. And he hit the nail on the head with that.
And Will even shared his ice cream. Now I know that goes as hard to believe my story, but I'm just telling the truth.
Listen, I actually had to move him from the from the freezer part, because he was holding against the door, and was like, "I want to share." I'm like, "Then move, Will." He's like, "I'm trying," and
Yeah.
And then he just stared at everybody that got a bowl of ice cream. He's just,
what? You want 2 scoops? Yeah, I'll make sure we have plenty of ice cream.
I will tell you, one of my other favorite things was sitting around the outdoor fireplace on the outdoor furniture and just hanging out. That to me was like picture perfect. Every night we just lounged around outdoor furniture and threw fire on the fire pit, and absolutely amazing. I will say that I was unable to make a morning flight. Too cold for me. When I walked onto the grass and it crunched, I was like, "Yeah, I'm probably not gonna do that." It's probably not for me.
Make that sound. Yeah, but the
Uh,
nice thing is, everyone
Ben,
thought it was warm at altitude.
yeah, well, it wasn't warm at grass level. I can tell you that much. It was freezing.
hey, yeah,
And
I
Ben was throwing some love to Brian over that smoked ham that not only did we eat for dinner, but also wound up in the eggs and also wound up on some pizza. And it was good.
I don't care if Mark wants me to tell this story or not, but I'm going to go ahead and tell him. I had to make every morning Mark McElroy special eggs because Mark doesn't actually like the taste of eggs. So you got to throw in onions, green peppers. Waller smoked this ham the first night that we got there, Thursday night, and that ham lasted for that night dinner. I chopped up a bunch of the ham and put it in the eggs with the onions and green peppers.
And
It
cheese.
and cheese. Oh no, no cheese. Forgot it again. Um, it was for lunch, and I even put it on my pizza. I had pepperoni, ham, and onion on my pizza. Uh, and I'm telling you right now, Waller is pretty good at smoking a ham. Just if you ever get a chance, don't be afraid. Just do it.
Yeah, yeah, that was delicious, man. Did you see? I had there's a comment Yankee Paramotor. I was curious about that. He enables enable his spot, his GPS thing. When he lands, he activates it when he takes his gear off. Can you explain that? Does that like call somebody and let them know, or send them a text, or how does that work? Uh, that's
I,
pretty.
in that satellite spot is a satellite.
Yeah, yeah. And how much does it cost a month too, if you know? Absolutely. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say about that, Mad Sloper, is I did not fly alone. My first, I think I had over 50 flights before I was flying by myself. So,
Oh,
you know,
we did forget something about the pizza oven.
what's that?
The steaks.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, and the pork. Oh, wait, the pork you didn't do in the. Did you do the pork in that too?
Nope, I cooked them on the grill.
Now the porks were like they're huge, freaking steaks.
I tried to warn you guys.
Hey, man.
Um, no, that and what Brian cooked. Brian had 3 T-bones that he cooked the next day for lunch on the grill. He said that they were a little overdone or in his words burnt. I thought they were phenomenal. I had
Me
no
too.
complaints. I didn't have one bite of any of that was not up to par. So Brian, stop beating yourself up, picking on yourself, whatever. It was spot on. I will tell you, and I did say this to Ben. I said I was absolutely nervous to cook those pork chops on that grill. One, it's charcoal, so you can't control the temperature very well. And two, these pork chops are 2.25 inch thick bone-in pork chops. There was 15 of them. I filled the entire grill. Had to use a top over rack or whatever, and I flipped those things 72 times to make sure they didn't get overdone or burnt in one spot. And I think they came out all right. But uh, absolutely, the food was amazing. The company was amazing. The flying was amazing. Property is amazing. And waking up to my wife was amazing because I hate going to fly-ins without her. Mark, how's your fly-ins going with your wife?
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's a hard no. She
And
sends cash in her place.
yeah, right. Can she send me some too? So help a
Yeah,
brother out.
for babysitting me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man, I wish you would have got your gift tonight. Just so you know.
What is it?
Oh,
Yeah,
listen,
what is it?
5-gallon bucket of lube for the next one.
Hey, man. Imagine the shipping.
Oh, don't worry, it'll slide right through shipping.
Slide right through customs.
See what I did there?
I did.
Angela, yes, Red was there. Red and Will's big black wiener. They got along great.
Better known as Yuvy.
Yes.
Yep.
Got along great. And who was how I know who had the other dog?
Todd
Oh,
Scott
yeah.
and Rebecca Scott.
Yes.
They
Okay.
had right here.
The
That
lap
is
dog.
that's another dachshund.
Yep.
That dachshund, I think, is 15 years old. Yep. And it's a male. And he was well aware that this little dachshund was not a male. So, yeah, but Red and Yubby got along great. And then I think they both kind of came to a mutual agreement that they'll tolerate each other. So next time will probably be even better.
Right.
Yeah, and that other dog's name was Happy.
Happy, that's right.
That is right. Yep. I really have no complaints other than I had to leave and come home to reality for this flying. I thoroughly enjoyed. Actually, I told my wife since not that I would have known this, but because we had such a horrible time in Savannah, I would have preferred just to came up Tuesday after work, maybe done Tuesday night at the hotel, and then showed up, Wednesday morning at Ben's and just got started. But I mean, it worked. Everything worked out the way it did, and I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change much of it. There's a couple things before I got to Ben's.
Before you got to Ben's, yeah.
Yeah, Ben's was perfect. I mean, the guy's an amazing host, willing to do anything and everything. Um, we would burn through. We burned through a butt ton of firewood, and Ben would just go get on his tractor and go get more and bring it back. He'd chop it right there and just whatever it took to make everybody happy. Ben is a great host, and I thoroughly enjoyed being there.
Yeah, there was something that wasn't quite working right or something, and all of a sudden Ben disappears, and well, it turns out he went to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever and got a piece or a part, and it's like, yeah, man.
Oh yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning, Will's pulling the damn air horn, so the whole house is woken up. I mean, no, the guy's like, "What do I care? I'm not getting up before noon." Like, I mean, it's just maybe that's the only thing I would change is Will making air horn noises at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You just need to complain to the landlord, dude. Now that's one complaint that I have, and that I hope we don't wait a year for us to get together again. And for people who are having trouble finding other people to fly with, if you don't have a local Facebook group of flyers in your area, well, make one.
Yeah.
Be the first and kind of grow your group. And before long, you'll have bunches of you. So,
Yeah, we asked before we got there, asked Ben what we needed to bring, and he's like, "Oh, I was like, do we need bedding?" He's like, "Yeah, bring your own bedding." We get there, and the beds are made like hotel beds. I'm like, "All right, well, I brought my own bedding. Save whoever has to wash the bedding, save them." So my wife and I stripped the bed, put it in the closet, and then made the bed again.
crap, I didn't do
like
that.
like the true trailer trash that we are. We just threw the sheets and everything on there, and then we figured it out later. But
Instead of stealing them like you usually do.
no,
That his sheets were from Savannah.
yeah. Oh, I can guarantee you the first hotel was not. Those sheets were not from
No.
Savannah. No.
Don't nobody need to hear about that.
Oh, I will tell you, Krista and I's first night in Savannah, the pictures that we had of the hotel looked amazing. We get there and it literally was, if you could picture a meth head on crack for 15 years, that's what our hotel room looks like. It had drywall missing, mold on the ceilings, mold in the toilet. Like, it was disgusting. but it was too late when we got there to change rooms or hotel. I'd already unloaded this truck, pulled my paramotor out, my gas tanks, everything was in the room, and I didn't know. I didn't really pay attention until the next morning when I woke up, and started looking around. I was like, "This place is disgusting." So we canceled and ended up finding another hotel that was more suitable for myself and my wife. So the first night was horrendous. It was just ridiculous. So that's really the only negative I have to say about this flying. I wasn't even at the flying yet.
Yeah. Well, if that's all you got, I sure can't add to it.
Definitely wasn't Ben's fault. you know?
He's got a great family.
Oh, his family's amazing. So when you think of like the I don't want to say the perfect family because I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that, but like when you get Christmas cards and the family, like the husband and wife has a boy and a girl, and they're on the white shirts and the white pants, and it's like the perfect postcard picture, like Christmas card. That's that's how I look at Ben's family. Like it's a perfect little family. I'm sure it's not, and Ben, whatever. But for me, looking in from the outside, I'm like that dude's got it going on. It's a great dynamic him and his wife have, and the kids are fantastic. So, like I said, it may be different, but on the outside looking in, postcard family.
Yeah, Ben might be saying, "Man, are we talking about the same family here or what?"
These kids are driving me nuts. uh, but yeah, I absolutely had a blast. And Ben did say we're more than welcome to come back whenever. So maybe I call him, maybe I don't. I don't know. Just show up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but we were still there. He was trying to get us to leave. Like, no, you guys can leave now and come again another time.
Yeah.
Once we left, he might have changed the gate code.
Yeah, right. Change the little placard out front.
Yeah. I will say this. We, meaning Shane, Krista, Mark, myself, we're all staying in the house in comfortable beds. Ben was out camping, and it was what, 30, 32 degrees, something. I don't know. It was cold, and it was probably the coldest it had been this year so far. And I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to my van to get some snacks. And I look over and I'm thinking, oh man, poor Ben, because it's freaking cold out here. So I offered, I said, man, I'll trade places with you. And no, he wouldn't have it. So,
Yeah, and that tells you what kind of guy he is, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave up his whole entire house that he had built the way he wanted it for us to stay there while he stayed in his camper. And didn't even run. Hey, listen, he must have been concerned about the light bill because he didn't even run an extension cord out to his camper for.
He did the next night.
Yeah, the next night he's like, I don't care how much. I don't care how much the power bill is. I'm running an extension cord out there.
Yeah, Dana. It's good to see Dana there. He's my shoes gave him seizures, but they're getting better. I got a pair of those lighted shoes,
The soles are lit.
Yeah, the things are pretty cool. I would argue they could be seen 3 statute miles in all directions.
Yeah. Yankee Paramotor says, and to blow the air horn. So you got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, not just to eat snacks. Which, by the way, this is why the guy can't get up in the AM, because he's up at 2 o'clock in the morning eating bonbons and eating ice cream, and hitting the air horn.
The story with the air horn is it was just a little part on a toilet or something, and it vibrated just at the right frequency to where, I kid you not, it sounded like a freaking air horn. And I get up the next day and I'm like, did anyone hear the air horn, or was that someone blowing their horn or something at, early this morning? And then Shane, you had forgotten about it, I think.
Yeah, I did. I thought I was dreaming.
I heard that.
I literally thought I was dreaming that because it was so off putting and I don't I was like, what in the hell is that noise? I thought maybe somebody pulled in and
That's what I
was
thought.
and I like honked the horn or something. I was like, who would do that? And then I went right back to bed, and I didn't think nothing else. I thought nothing of it when I woke up, and then you said something about it, and I was like, so I wasn't dreaming. Like it was just so. Ben wants to know: did we all talk about launching downwind? I can tell you about landing downwind uphill.
Is that what you call landing?
I mean, I crashed, but I mean, can you really call it a crash? I didn't land on my feet, but I landed on
No.
one knee and then stood up at the end. It worked out fine.
I tried launching downwind on my first launch, and man, I could not run fast enough. So I gave that up, and I turned around and launched upwind
That was
and
awesome.
uphill slightly, but it still worked out better for me.
I want to say that was awesome because we all were like, "Will, you inflated just fine. Why didn't you go take off?" He's like, "I can't run any faster." Like that was it.
I did not have the lift. You know, I
Right.
mean, you
No, I
can
hear you.
tell when you got it, but no, I just didn't have it. Yeah.
Yeah, but his whole field is surrounded by tall trees, and so a lot of times, or some of the times, it was crosswind, but it was so light that it really didn't matter. You could pull it up, I think, and go in most any direction.
Well, I
You're just
didn't.
young whippersnapper, though, Mark.
Yeah, I had a failed launch there, and that slight crosswind seemed to screw me over pretty good that on that launch.
If you guys would just follow my lead and do what I say, I mean, once you start to run, just close your eyes and pin it, and
Just
usually you'll be all right.
And when you open your eyes, you're
You're
airborne.
good.
you pendulum for 10 minutes, but that's just besides the point.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You know
Uh,
what? We forgot Dana Sheets and the posts. Help Ben get
oh
those posts out.
yeah,
That was an incredible
so
sight. As fast as he
so
did that.
so Ben has what do you call them, 4 inch diameter post or 6 inch? Four
Yeah,
inch.
I don't know.
No,
Like
those are
regular posts.
sixes. They're every bit of six.
All right. So um, Ben had a wine or not, what is it called, a vineyard,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and he put up these 6 inch posts that were driven into the ground by kind of like a hammer, but big gigantic machinery to push it in the ground. And Ben was having trouble getting them out because he's no longer doing that. And Dana Sheets is well known for his tractor skills, apparently, and went out there with a chain and pulled all these posts out. And it was taking Ben quite some time to get these posts out, and Dana 30-40 seconds to pull each one of these out, and it was pretty amazing. Why they were doing that, because that seemed like a lot of hard work. I went and fixed Ben's garbage disposal, so that I mean that was hard work, not really, but I got that done, so it made me look like I did something. So I was golden. There was a lot of posts. There was a lot of posts.
Yeah. Well, even that was fun. What's up, Lindsay?
Do I know that guy?
You do know that guy. You flew with that guy.
Man,
Another APCO wing flyer.
we got Kelby Cox in here. He said hi and then peace out. I don't know what that means, but
What's up, Kelby? Other thing I wanted to mention is you remember Montana?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so he called me yesterday, I think. Anyways, he's heading back east. So looking for some places to fly, and He flies a spider, and someone was asking if I knew anyone or if we knew anyone who flew a spider. He does. That's
How
what
far east is he going?
I think he's going all the way. So
For what?
I know he's coming to North Carolina, but it's kind of a last brouhaha, I guess, because he
I,
might be going back.
I thought he was supposed to do that after he left Bad Apples.
He was. So
Okay.
this is the last brouhaha, I guess.
All right. So if you guys don't know, actually,
Tim.
yeah, he's a Mennonite, correct?
It's not a Mennonite, but something along those lines. I can't remember the name of it.
Anyways, he's supposed to be on a journey to go, do whatever he wants, and then he's supposed to go back and give everything up that he went and did. So far, he hasn't given it up yet.
Hedonite, maybe? Hedonite?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure,
Yeah.
but nice guy. Haven't really had much interactions with him, but from what I've seen and heard, he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, he is.
Great pilot. I believe he's self-taught, correct?
Yep. That's
And
exactly.
that dude will fly at any time of the day, and he don't care. He just, I'll be back.
Yeah. So I mean that's the deal. So if he chooses to go back, he can no longer paramotor. So kind of I know what I'd
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to ever put myself in that situation because, well, I guess I better get my enjoyment out of life now because I'm going to be hot later.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yep.
Because this flying thing is just absolutely ridiculous. Um, I did mention I texted all you guys separately today not to start another group text about the January trip down here. Will is out unless we're planning on doing a cross country,
Mm-hmm.
which I 100% am fine with. I just don't think there's enough time for us to plan out um, the whole how we're going to do it. There's
Yeah, no problem.
there's airspace we got to look into. Um, there's more to it than just going, hey, we're at the beach, let's take off and go across the state of Florida and come back or whatever. Um, yeah, so I I don't know if you how you took my text or whatever, but I'm completely understanding. So, but we may tell you that we're not going to do that, Will, and then actually do it.
You ought to do that. You should do that. I'd recommend it.
Oh, we'll be like, that's it. We're done.
Yeah. Well, I was telling someone, I can't remember who it was, but I was saying, yeah, this kind of represents the end of the flying season. And
Mm-hmm.
in a way, it does, but, it doesn't have to.
No.
If you live in a cold environment, you might have to travel a little bit to fly in warmer air if that's your thing. But yeah, it doesn't have to be. And if you fly in a cold environment, do your best to fly, even in the cold. Maintain your skills and keep them fresh because it's a real thing. If you haven't flown for 3 months and then don't expect to just pick up the wing and launch without a few bumps along the way.
Right. All right. Well, I will talk to all the cool people that can actually make it to Florida and not be, a slacker. And we will do the planning of that trip in January. It'll be cold here in January, but it won't be terrible. It'll just be cold the first hour or so in the morning, and then we're good to go.
Cold in January. That's funny.
It'll be, just a couple hours. You got Yankee Paramotor says there's a lot of chatter about the February attempt. I don't think it can be done. Are you talking about crossing the state of Florida? I 100% think it can be done. You just need a good, strong tailwind.
You just got, yeah, that is so dependent on weather.
Right.
Hey, JP's in the house.
Oh, man.
He said to start over.
No, listen, I'm still trying to recover from this past fly-in. Um, I had to work late on Monday, and then my daughter, who decided to have some brake issues after I worked overtime on a Monday from a holiday, I had to do 4 brakes, brake pad change out on my daughter's car in the driveway. So, and apparently I was required to make dinner that night too. I don't know what happened. Um, so it is what it is. But I think we're going to get out of here, guys. Maybe I know that Yankee Paramotor said something about the guy that's planning on trying to leave the state of Florida and fly across to Bahamas.
Dude, I'm on that team. Well, I guess Shane, when he said he was out of here, he was
meant
really
it.
out of here. I guess he was finished talking. I think he hit the button by mistake.
If you're on that crossing out of like Fort Lauderdale over to the Bahamas, you better have some good boat coverage.
I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, that was just good luck on our part.
Yeah, that's how you end a conversation, right? When you don't have anything else to say.
No, I was gonna say I'd love to talk about that because none of that seems interested. I don't seem interested in that at all.
I would be totally interested in that.
No, there's just too much death involved in that. I mean, if you have any issues, and let's just say you have your flotation, let's say you escape from your gear, uneventful. You swim away from your gear. Your ass is stuck in the ocean, in the middle of the ocean.
No, dude, it's got to have support. There's got to be a chase boat.
Yes, and at some point that chase boat loses contact with. There's just too many variables of you're getting eaten by a shark.
It says the guy that foot drags alligators and crocodiles.
None of that bothers me. Those jokers will run from you. I'm trying to tell
My dad
you.
always said, if you don't bother the sharks, they won't bother you.
You go ahead and go bobbing out in the ocean and see what happens.
That water is crystal clear, though. You won't have any trouble seeing the sharks.
Yeah, come to see what's going to kill you. Got it. Will, where can we find you on social media, sir?
You can find me on YouTube. Just search for Will Fly, or online at willflyppg.com.
Mr. Mark McElroy, where can we find you, sir?
YouTube Paralife PPG or online at paralifeppg.com.
And you can find me here on Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane YouTube channel or on TikTok at ppgshane.com, which I have a little bit of content. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys, I will see you guys next week. Greatly appreciate you guys showing up.
Peace.
Peace.
I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no